We're going to talk a little bit more about that path and that act of giving. Maybe just before we do, I have another short video clip that I'd like to play. Lawrence, would you mind rolling that?
I have children, and so I always try and put myself in the shoes of these people, pretend it's me. And how would you feel? You've got two small children, they're completely reliant on you. Their lives are in danger, they may drown at any moment, and you're helpless.
I love my home, I love my house, I love my street, I love my father, I love my mother, I love anything. I love all things in my country. I love my country. I love people. I hate the world.
This is a global humanitarian crisis. The world has never seen this many people moving from their homes, a number that exceeds what happened in World War II. There are little to no resources here. But where is the support from the people who are supposed to be giving that support? So that's what's really shocking. When we let our fellow human beings be pushed to the point where they have no other alternative other than to give everything up that they have and leave home.
که هیچ کس از راهی که آمدن به اینقدر سختی کشیدن اینقدر پامو درد گرفت به این کوها هیچ کس دیگه نیایه درس بخونه دوستان درس بخونه دوستان دیگه جنگ نباشه دوستان جنگ نباشه اون کشوری که برن به کوچه بازی کنن خواب راحت خواب بشن راحت بخوابن دوست هیچی نباشه.
The reason we want to create that is to inject some humanity into what has already been a very hellish journey for a lot of these people. But there's no coordination, there's no one reception center that's close to the landing point. You know, let's build this first because this is what is needed the moment they land. It's the basics, just tents, water, food, medicine, information, and transport. These are people, you know, they're school teachers, they're bus drivers, they're people that had a family and a livelihood, people that say that they love Syria, that, if the war stopped, they would absolutely go back. Imagine this happened in your own country, and you have to escape to another place. Just put yourself in their shoes. These are human beings just like everybody else, and they have life stories, they have hopes and ambitions, they have children that they love dearly. If more people experience this, in a nanosecond, you would want to help.
Can you tell us a little bit more about this trip?
Yeah, the fellow you saw on there, Ahmed Khan, is a very good friend of mine, and I've known him for a number of years, and he is very well versed in refugee crises all over the world. He's done a lot of this work, and we were vacationing this summer. He's a good friend of mine, and he was telling me all about what was going on. And then I came back, and he texted me one day, and after our vacation, he had gone off to Lesbos, this island where most of the refugees are coming in. About 70% of all the refugees are coming in from Turkey into Lesbos, Greece. And he said, you have any idea what's going on here? And he started to describe how desperate the situation was. And because of all the political considerations, there are no real governments or multilateral organizations involved in this effort. It's really all volunteers. It's really a very sad situation, the way it's been handled. So he decided he was going to stick around and help and work with the IRC, and he thought one of the most important things that was needed was this reception center. People are landing on these boats, these overcrowded dinghies, day and night, and we saw quite a few of them. And they're drowning along the way, they've got babies, and they're landing and there's nothing there. There's just a bunch of volunteers that are trying to direct them to make their way to the other side of the island, which is about 40 miles away, to be processed and take the ferry to Athens, where they can make their way through other parts of Europe. And so he and the IRC came to the conclusion that what we needed was a reception center, which just provided the basics. This wasn't supposed to be anything, you know, fancy. It was really about just shelter and warm clothing and food and water and medicine if needed, and just security and some information, and then the transportation to take them to the other side of the island. And so he was asking for my help, and I went to meet him in New York, and we talked about it, and I said, you know, Ahmed, I'm so spread so thin with all of my commitments right now. I'm running about 4 different charitable things that I'm responsible for the money for. And I said, I just can't take something. I'm happy to help, but I can't take this on. If you get somebody else to lead it, I'll just tag along and I'll do my bit. And he tried and he tried, and and this is the other, you know, the amazing thing about rich people, because we both know a lot of rich people, and no one was stepping up to the plate. So he kept coming back to me, and I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll help you lead the effort, but on one condition: I have to go and check it out. I need to see it for myself. I can't speak to something I haven't experienced. I need to see it for myself. So we went over there, and it was quite an eye-opening experience. Is, you know, it is one way of putting it. It was very emotional to see these people. I mean, we landed and we went straight to the Karatepe camp, which is the main camp for the Syrians there, and we talked to a lot of the refugees. We talked to the people that were running the camp, and it was all great. And then we were driving back to the hotel, and it was dark by then, and we were driving on the beach road where all of these refugees are landing. And we saw 2 flashlights on the beach, and they were shining into the water, and obviously we knew what they were looking for. So we stopped the car, and I jump out to run to the beach to see what was going on, and I saw 2 guys standing. I thought they were volunteers, but they were actually smugglers. And the big scam there is that you've got the smugglers on the Turkish side and then the smugglers on the Greek side, and they work together. So the ones on the Greek side wait to get everybody off the boat, and all they care about is dismantling the boat. They puncture the rubber dinghy, deflate it, take out the plywood boards, and then they wrap it up and they get it back to the Turkish side for reuse. And it's a business. So I was trying to congratulate these volunteers that they were actually smugglers. And so all of a sudden I could hear, in the darkness, I could hear these voices, and I could hear babies crying. And so, you know, that was really interesting when you see it up close like that. And I saw the boat, and we 2 or 3 of us jumped into the water, and we helped pull the boat in. We were helping people off the boat. And this lady hands me her son. He must have been, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. And that's when it just hit me. I just go, oh my God, this is real. These are real people. And the kids were crying, and I was carrying this kid, and I was in total shock. I was just standing there. I was frozen. I couldn't talk. They got me on film, and I was just standing there. I was just speechless. I couldn't believe when you actually see it up front and how real it is. That these are real people that are scared, and they're cold. And, you know, they're landing somewhere where they have no future. They've brought nothing with them, nothing. They have a backpack. And most of them are carrying babies and kids, and that was hard. I had to keep it together. It took a lot of effort just to keep it together during that half hour we were on the beach. And then the next day we spent the whole day on the beach, you know, as these boats were coming in, and we were talking to people, interviewing them. We're making a documentary out of this to create an awareness of the situation. And, you know, you asked, the stories were really very similar, horrific stories. Some of the stories we heard would break your heart. I mean, really, the death these people have seen, and, you know, they've lost everything, they've given up hope. And that, you know, they all would love to go back to their country. You know, and none of these people are coming over for economic opportunity. They're coming because it's a war zone. There are 11 million displaced people in Syria. They have no homes. And, you know, they're going into places like Turkey and Jordan and Lebanon. But they're trying. Some of them are trying to make their way to Europe, and it's because they have nothing to go home to.